Hey guys, how's it going? So last night I was playing Squad version 13 playtest and I got sick of it and I shut it down and I uninstalled. And I decided that I wanted to make a video on the reason why people are leaving the game. There's a lot of conversation on why a vet's leaving. Now I've only been playing since version 9, 1,200 hours roughly on the game. Whether that makes me a vet or not, I consider vets to be pre-version 9, but each to their own. I played a hell of a lot, 950 odd hours in version 9, so that's only 250 since, if that. So most of the game, because I uninstalled it last night, you don't have the benefit of squad gameplay on the screen. What we've got here is the games that I decided to go and play instead today. So I thought of a way of explaining why I'm personally frustrated. Whether this applies to other vets or not, I don't know, but this is my primary frustration with Squad and why I'm not playing it. If you think of the game of chess, what makes chess chess? Well, you have the board that the game plays on, and you have the pieces and the rules around how those pieces move. The way they've developed Squad is that rather than making the whole set, it's like they're developing individual pieces of a chessboard and they're putting vast amounts of time into the art and perfecting the way those things move, just highly focusing on each individual piece and then releasing an update with one piece. So at the moment we have like a chessboard that has half the pieces missing, and the rules around the way they move keep changing. We all know that with a chessboard you can buy different themes. You can have the standard chess pieces, but you can have a Star Wars themed chessboard. The game of chess is the same. It doesn't matter if the pieces are modelled to look like Star Wars figures. It makes no difference whatsoever to the game, gameplay, the meta of competition, all these things. No difference. What they're doing with the development of Squad is that they're focusing wholeheartedly on perfecting each individual piece. For example, tanks. Tanks was like a piece. You know, on a chessboard you normally have two of each. They're like a pair, and absolutely perfecting them. But they might not have bothered to give the other team tanks. You see what I mean? They've left half the pieces missing. They didn't implement the damage model that allowed you to do anything about the tank. None of us have actually played a single game of Squad yet, because they haven't given us the full set yet. In 5 years' time, when the full set has been around for a while, or the fundamentals of the set have been around for a while, we'll look back on these versions and just think they were almost irrelevant. None of us have played a proper game of Squad yet because it doesn't exist yet. Now, if you look at other games like Postscriptum and Hell Let Loose, now I don't own either of these games, so what I say now might be inaccurate in some cases. Postscriptum, of course, is like a sister company. OWI totally involved in the development of that game, completely. And yet I'm going to hold Postscriptum up and say that released with tanks. That released with airstrikes. It released with pretty much the fundamentals of all the pieces of the chessboard. When you played a game of Postscriptum, you had most of the fundamental utilities that you needed. and their countermeasures. You can't say that about Squad. It doesn't exist yet. I have no idea why. Okay, so I was going to say I have no idea why they're doing it this way. What I would have preferred to see, and it's way too late to be saying this, way too late to be saying this, and I get that. If they had released in their early version, like if version 1 had been like you've got some characters run around with guns and shoot each other, version 2 had started to have some like boxes, literally boxes, which acted as vehicles. So you had a small box for a Logi, a slightly bigger box as a transport truck, you had one that flew for a helicopter, you had big chunky ones for tanks, and they started to put some of the mechanisms in and forgot about the art. Just leave the art. That is for another time. Let's sort out the pieces on the board, the rules of how the pieces move on the board, what can take what damage can be done to what, how fast do they move, what systems are in place to balance or help simulate. Talking about things like stamina, all these sorts of things. Yesterday I did the version 13 feedback form, and some of these fundamental questions about stamina. Obviously version 13 has movement, we've got the buddy rally system. These are so fundamental. This stuff, for me, if you were trying to design the game of chess, would have been done before version 1. Now yeah, you might gain from experience. You would be a fool to think that you could design the whole thing on paper and then just implement it. Some things are learn and grow and evolve, and they're better for that. You would be a fool to deny the benefit of experience, of learning, of testing, and the playtest environment is fantastic for that. But to be where we are now, with the artwork and things so beautiful in the tanks and things like that, talking about the rally system, talking about whether stamina should affect the accuracy of your shots. I mean, version 9, the gunplay in version 9, talking about weapon sway, rates of fire, damage, movement speed of the characters, all that sort of stuff. The infantry versus infantry gunplay was very popular. It was very popular. The only thing that everybody agreed needs to change was the dolphin dive. You could accurately shoot whilst going into prone. Everybody, I don't care if you are a Counter-Strike player, if you are a Call of Duty player, or if you're an Arma player, everybody agreed that that needed to change. It wasn't in keeping. Since then, they've changed damn near everything about it. They've fiddled with everything. Why have they done that? My only conclusion that I can draw is that something big and fundamental changed in OWI from around version 9 into version 10. Now the money that they spent going ham trying to make it the animation system absolutely perfect first time. This is the same as what I'm saying about the tanks, trying to implement them perfect first time when half the game is still missing. The money that they must have spent on all that animation capturing must have been huge. And now here we are down the line. And it's the speed of... Let me go back. Prone. Jumping into prone. There was a big argument about the prone thing, and they put in a new animation. Now the new animation clearly isn't captured. It doesn't look as good as the previous one. But for gameplay purposes it's way better. It's a big improvement. They should have, obviously in hindsight, yeah, benefit of hindsight, done the captured someone jumping into prone the way that they've got that animation now, then it would have looked even better. But on top of the jumping into prone, now that they've made the character speeds, the whole of the animation system looks a little bit kind of like, do you know what I mean? It's totally undermined the beauty of a professionally captured animation. If they developed the full pieces of the chess set first, the rules of the game first, the speed of the game first, then they wouldn't have captured animations that turned out to not be ideal for the perfect game. You've got these new some new animations with the old hand swinging around when the squad leader does certain commands. The animation system should have been done really late. All the pieces of the chess set should have been in place. The gameplay should have been in place. The mechanics for how things interact should have been in place before they finalise exactly what they wanted to do. Then they invest the money in the final polishing. That has... I'm speechless, really. Hell Let Loose looks like another one that's coming out, where from the word go, tanks are in the game. Postscriptum has at least had commander. I think Hell Let Loose looks like it's got the commander role already. In fact, Hell Let Loose must do, I presume, because it has the call-in strikes. I've seen that on videos. My situation is, since playing Squad, I don't want to spend any of my money on any kind of a pre-order or unproven early access, because I put my money into Squad version 9 after a free weekend. I really enjoyed the game. I played from religiously through all the versions of version 9. They kept adding to the game. This is getting better and better. This is getting nearer and nearer completion. And then they pulled half of it out. What if I buy Hell Let Loose or Postscriptum for something in the game that I really enjoy, and then they rip it out? They take out the thing that I enjoy, and they put something else in that I don't enjoy. What they should do, what they should have on the Steam library, is a Squad version 9 download as part of your when you buy Squad, and you see how many people play that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not possible to mod a better into prone animation, or some way that just, if that's all they changed. So many of the new maps as well. You can't, unless you have all the pieces of the set, of your side set, you can't really design a map to facilitate every aspect of it. Talil is designed to have these big tank battle things, but how is it gonna play when helicopters come in? Now, my theory would be that it will be an improvement, because you can, instead of being stuck in your little island of a little town with tanks surrounding you and the game just stagnating, absolutely stagnating, you'll be able to use helicopters to fly over the tanks and then land at or near the new objective. And you've got more options. But in terms of map design, now this is one of the things that Apex was held up for doing incredibly well when it first released, was that they put in some kind of lanes to bring teams together in conflict to create lanes of looting, and it's a really fun map to play. But the thing with the Squad map is, how do you design a map that facilitates all of the elements of the final release of Squad when you don't even know what all the pieces on your chess set will be. You don't know what that final release will look like. And if you do think you have an idea and you try, what's the chances that it's going to hit the nail on the head and be perfect for when those vehicles and things are released? People are shooting in the dark. That is why the maps, they're not necessarily bad, but the map makers have been asked to do something which is impossible. Still, some of the version 9 maps, which are primarily infantry focused, are the best maps in the game, because the infantry is the most complete aspect, even though they keep fiddling with it. So that's my rant. That is why I've uninstalled Squad, why I haven't bought any of these new games. I think when Hell Let Loose comes out, I'm already very tempted to buy it. I watched it this weekend. They got an open beta this weekend, but I'm reminding myself, just uninstalled Squad last night. I'm reminding myself of the reasons why I don't want to buy games that aren't finished. Anyway, that's my rant for now. Whatever you're playing, guys, I hope you're enjoying it. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.